This podcast features adults using adult language, so listener discretion is advised. The Legend of Zelda is property of Nintendo, while Dungeons & Dragons is property of Wizards of the Coast. We are sponsored by neither, and this is a homebrew game played for fun by folks who are fans of both. But now, without further ado, let us continue tales of danger, determination and adventure in Hyrule Chronicles. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles, a game where we play D&D in the world of Legend of Zelda. Hooray! I am ArticulateT, I am the GM, and with me today I have, playing Renji, son of Nihilus, I have TheNetherlad.
Good evening.
Playing Hikan CO, I have Alvarance.
Hello.
Playing Ziden Shari, I have RoboPirate.
Hello.
And finally, playing Max, I have Keastreth.
Hello.
I almost said playing Keastreth, I have Max. I was like,
I'm okay with either way, to be honest.
we don't have Steve with us at the moment. He's currently tending to other matters, and hopefully will be back with us the next time around.
Wish him the best.
Indeed. In the meantime, though, while I briefly get up in order to turn the lights on in my room, who would like to refresh us on what happened in the previous thing? I'll take that silence as no one really wants to do it without Steve here.
Well, I
was giving other people a chance to answer.
Okay, well, in that case, you may do it.
So, last time, we found a ghost, and that's what was making the animals all weird, and so we followed and talked to the ghost, and the ghost led us to some sewers, and we fought some Octoroks, and I did another goof, because I killed an Octorok, and I didn't know he was a nice one, and then we went and fought some Chews, and Renji has bear breath on the back of his hair, and then we found the body.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Yep. I had hoped you'd forgotten one particular detail of that, but yes, that indeed did happen.
Oh dear.
It was all your own fault.
Okay. Alrighty then. So, we find ourselves having left off on some kind of cliffhanger, with you guys currently in this small alcove in the side of a pump room down in the waterways of Hyrule Castle Town. Before you is the recently disturbed, hastily created grave of Marcus Whitestone, and scribbled maddeningly on the walls is a single phrase: "Down with the nobility."
Renji looks over at the rest of the group after having sat outside of this room for just a moment. I don't know too much about burial rituals, but given that young Master Whitestone is a ghost, I believe his soul has not been put to rest exactly.
I would suggest we see if we can transport his body above ground to be properly taken care of.
Yes, for
would
him
we
to
want
be.
to do that, or would we want to get the guard? Because they can take a look around and see if there's clues, because that sounds more vague than a lot of other things.
Plus,
I mean, we should
we
look around.
probably need to bring down here anyway so they can
Mm.
see that message and all the other stuff.
I agree that we should have the guards investigate, but maybe we can see if we find something out. And I wish to look around the room to see if we've missed anything, if there's anything left beyond this message that's obviously meant to be found.
Make an investigation roll.
Okay, as I do so, I use prestidigitation to make my eyes glow for just a moment as I look around,
Okay.
just to be cool.
Detective
That's
mode
11.
activate.
Yes.
So you have a look around. You can't seem to find anything else beyond what you've already found. You see the area is this fairly sizable pocket of unused area, possibly something that has collapsed recently, and has been cleared out and then hidden behind a wall. There's other than the single puddle that is in the room, which seems to have been created from a constant dripping that comes from a spot in the ceiling. There's not much else here.
Could I discern the original function for this room?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say make a general intelligence check.
General intelligence, here we go. And that is a 15.
A 15. Looking around, you feel that, considering that there's no evidence of, say, old flagstones or any kind of stuff that was once here, it's possible that they might have started excavating this particular point, and then found that maybe there was some kind of structural integrity issues that would occur if they digged out any further, so they decided, well, we'll just cut our losses here and wall off this particular part.
And after which it was found again by the culprit.
Yeah.
I see. I relayed this information to the rest of the party. And I believe we will soon be joined by Steve, hopefully. I glance over at Sho and ask him what he thinks.
Sho, at this point in time, I think would be in here right now.
Yes.
We have a
Sho,
Steve.
This room seems to have been dug out as part of an excavation, but then left due to some structural integrity issue. What do you think?
What? What?
I thought you would be paying attention to everything. Anyway.
Wait. Officer.
So so just for prosperity, joining us finally is SteveTheSeregios playing Sho Daius.
Oh god, am I late? Wait, how late? How long?
By about 18 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's fine. It's okay. We've only just started, and it's absolutely fine. But anyway, so just a brief recap. We're still down in the waterways, and you're currently having a look around the little dugout area where you found Marcus's body to see if there are any clues that you might have missed previously.
The party does think that it is best to go up and get the guard to come down and take care of Marcus's body, as they could probably find clues to see who it is, and Renji's just kind of looking around trying to figure out what this room was used for.
Makes sense. Last left off, I remember Sho specifically was right at the body.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm going to take a look at that head wound.
Okay, make a medicine check.
Wow. At a +2, giving me a total of 9. I stabbed the people. I am not good at seeing how they've been stabbed.
Looking over it, you determine that you can see this gaping hole in the back of his skull where presumably someone struck him very, very hard. It certainly seems to line up with the hypothesis brought forth by Ziden in the previous session, where it was done by some kind of pick-like thing, so something pointy but with the weight of a bludgeoning weapon.
Right. I'm going to try and find on his person. Does he have a ring on his finger?
Make a perception check.
10.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time just trying to maneuver a dead body out of a pile of dirt. But you do manage to find a signet ring. The signet ring of the Whitestone family, which is this black and gold ring, and on the front of it appears to be this little fortress icon.
Shows like size, poor child taken too quickly and all that. It's like, I will see to it that this is returned to Lord Whitestone. But
How old exactly was Marcus?
You know him to have been 18.
Okay, so Renji, like, despite him trying to appear calm and like cool, is pretty worried.
yeah,
He only has a few years. Like, Marcus had only a few years on him. So Renji's more like fidgeting with his hands and his like making sure that his breastplate is all shiny and stuff, just to distract himself.
yeah. Shows probably just very much like how bloody futile, like this poor child. Why, like, Sho, as his training would have made him, he keeps an eye on the political standing, and knew of, or probably not met Marcus, probably met Whitestone, but not his children, and it's like, this is actually like why, like, political espionage and stuff. This is, I can deal with that, but like, this is the murder of a child. And it's just seething quietly.
Would I have an idea that Renji's more worried about himself in this case with a 16 on insight?
Yeah, you can get unless if anybody wants to hide their emotions, roll deception.
Okay, in that case, yeah, Renji would hide this. Sorry,
That's fine.
and that's a 17.
Yeah. So it's difficult to read Renji at the very least. Hikan, he's quiet, but otherwise it's difficult to pinpoint as to what exactly you might be thinking or feeling at this point in time. Sho, are you hiding your emotions, or are you?
Hell no, I'm angry.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Sho is utterly furious with this, and is, as dignified as a samurai might be in this situation. It's still fairly easy to tell that he's not doing so hot.
Since I'm kind of fast, do you guys want me to go get the guard and bring them here while you guys look around?
That sounds like a good idea. Yes.
If you have the time to, maybe bring a priest for consecration purposes.
Okay.
I agree, yes. Since, well, Marcus is still a Poe, and that isn't the most beneficial of states, I suppose.
Tell them to bring a priest. Got it. And Hikan will start running back up to the top of the sewers.
Are you going to come back in the way you came, or are you going to come in, or are you going to find an actual entrance, like a maintenance entrance?
Is there a maintenance entrance nearby?
Yeah, there's a proper entranceway, short, like a very short distance from where you guys entered, and it's a set of nice big oak doors, and kind of pushing them open from the outside. You exit and see in the darkness of the night. You can see these two guards turn around and immediately point their spears at you. Say, "Who goes there?"
I was part of your group who was looking around and helping the city. I know Renji, son of God damn it, what's his dad's name? Nihilus, and I know Sho Daius, and I work for Lord Simeon, and there's something that happened in the sewers, and I would like to show you. And my friends are down there.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Because of the name dropping.
Because of
A,
the active
name dropping.
name dropping. B,
Active
you're-
name dropping.
19!
Oh my god, the blubbering. Top tier blubbering.
Yeah. You with the 19, they look at each other, and one of them goes, "You stay here. I'll go investigate this." And they
We
stand
would
straight.
like a priest, if possible, or you guys can come back and do it. I just told to bring a priest.
A priest. Ugh. Better get one
Yeah,
of the
the guy's
chaplains
kind of a
then.
ghost.
Get ghost, you say? Like a
Like a Poe.
right. Go, Paulie, and turns around to the other guy. The guy goes, "Yeah." And he goes, Go get a chaplain. Why don't you? I think they usually patrol the religion district. And he's like, okay. And just he scoots off and says, "I have to keep here in order to keep an eye on the door, but it should be a few minutes if that's all right."
So do we have...
It's fine by me. So how do you like your job? If you guys need to go over and do other stuff, that's fine.
Is this actively Paulie and Tony? The guns?
I guess so. I would have gone with Biggs and Wedge, but that would have been on the nose.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would be a different fandom either.
Yeah, can these guys be our Biggs and Wedge?
Paul and Tony, yeah.
Yeah, Paulie and Tony, the two guards who are not paid enough to deal with the stuff that happens.
I need to write this down then. If I'm gonna.
Oh, I'm getting a list of the names of people. Like, I know Percival, who's a scribe, and I have Samson, Polly, and now Tony.
Oh, I love you. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Fantastic. Beautiful.
Meanwhile, in the sewers, I look over at Sho and I say, shouldn't we have told Hikan about, which religion the Whitestones follow?
Even though that may have been beneficial, yes, but right now I'm more referring to the proper burial rites for the body.
Yeah,
The actual-
I understand.
The consecration of Paul Marcus's current self, I imagine, would be better handled. And given Lord Whitestone, I'd imagine the man is at least a follower of Hylian in some fashion, as most of the Hylians are.
If you want to make like a history check or a general intelligence check to see if you are aware of the general faith that the Whitestone family typically worship.
Sure.
I will go with history.
Okay.
I will go with general intelligence. Oh, wait, no, never mind. That would be an 18 on history.
Ah, you're proficient in history, I see.
I am proficient in history. Yes.
Okay. It's not typically a high roll, I don't think. So Netherlad, you know very much that the Whitestone, you both know that the Whitestones aren't typically a religious family. But it's not in the sense of they're raging anti-theists who hate the beyond stereotypical anti-theists. No, they're I think they're kind of in the same sense of atheists in the same way that Rid Cully from Discworld was an atheist, where they acknowledge that the gods exist, but they don't see it's worth their time worshipping them.
They're very much like humanity on its own merit.
Yeah.
Why would they don't need gods Lord White himself is the minister of law. He doesn't need any god's law. He just has the law made by humans for humans.
Yeah, and technically, the closest deity to a form of worship of law would probably be Nehru, but that's more of the case of wisdom and stuff like that.
Judiciary, the general catch-all in most of Hyrule would be Hylia.
Yeah, and alternatively there is Evilas, but they're an evil deity of.
They're more assholes.
Yeah, Evilas is basically just the Asmodeus of the pantheon.
They're they're the execution part of justice.
Yeah.
They're very much the headsman, and they're too far stuck up on their own who they think deserves to go to the axe, which is Evilus's problem.
After about 20 minutes, Hikan, as you're chatting to Tony, and eventually Paulie returns. There's like a clatter of metal as Paulie returns, and behind him is this dude in full plate mail with a kite shield and a spear, and his plate mail is like resplendent in all of this kind of
Battle brother, Space Marine.
Space Marine.
Space Marine will have to go in the sewer now.
It's
Adeptus Custodes in the house, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like fully resplendent in all kind of like gold leaf and everything like that. It's just it's pretty boss, and he stands fairly tall, and he comes over and says, "You mention a ghost?"
Yeah, there was a Poe. We found that guy's body because he's really a nice Poe. He just wanted a pet, but we found his body, and we found some really interesting things with it, and we would like more qualified people to take care of it.
Right. Okay.
AKA the church and the law. Both of which we aren't.
You two, he turns to Paulie and Tony and says, "You two stay here." And they go, "All right, okay, that's not fine by us." And they turn around and resume their guard posts. And
more NPCs that we've just given names, and they're infinitely more charming.
And the full plate guy says, like he takes something from his belt, like a long tube sort of thing. And he cracks it, and then there's a very bright glow, and he holds it in. He puts the spear away and holds it in his free hand and says, "Lead the way."
Okay, and I start taking him to the rest of the party.
It's not that far of a distance, and there are plenty of ways to get over the other side of the waterway, so he doesn't have to swim. Thank God. And
in plate, nah, fam.
He's not swimming.
Thanks.
And eventually, the rest of you see Hikan return with this man in full plate mail, with gold trim and like a full black cape, and like a full helmet that conceals his face.
The moment that I hear anyone coming our way, I will dismiss my sword.
Okay. And so you hear this clank, 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 and Sho and Renji,
I think I know who this guy is.
Yeah. So you see this guy. You haven't seen many of them, but while there are plenty of clerics in Hyrule Castle Town, there are only a few chaplains, and the chaplains are basically clerics on the side of the police force, in a sense.
And they are tough motherfuckers.
They are tough motherfuckers.
There's like one or two for each of the general religions, and they're all scary as shit.
Yeah. So the chaplain, this chaplain here, he has emblazoned on his chest the symbol of Din, and he kind of approaches the rest of you, and he has he keeps his samurai on and looks over and says, "So, I've been told that you have found a body."
Sho stands,
motion to it, yeah.
Offs his hat and gestures to the poor remains of.
He walks over, and like takes.
Would I know the generals by? Would I know the chaplains by name?
Make a history check.
I will do so too because I'm nosy.
Yes.
I won't because my character wouldn't know.
Wham, 11. I'm good. Hopefully I'm getting all the poor rolls.
I have a
out
16.
The name escapes you at the moment, Sho, but Renji, you know that there's only one chaplain of Din, and that would be Larson Graves, who is coincidentally the son of the head chef of the castle. he's young, but he's dedicated, and he looks he's not as tall as Sho is. So it's kind of like the big bulky plate mail is kind of undercut slightly by his stature, but he looks over, and I'm going to have a brief look at his spells. And he looks around, and he begins to cast one particular spell. Like he takes out he puts the sun rod on the ground, and he takes from his pouch what appears to be a yew leaf, and begins to mutter something to himself, and then just briefly look around, look over, look at a lot of you, and then puts it away, and then stands up again.
Was he just like detect eviling us?
Make an Arcana check, or a religion check. That works too, because he is
I'm
a
not
cleric.
fussing because he has authority. It's like
I
he's
got
doing his
20.
job.
I do wish to know about this as well.
Okay.
And so that's a 17 for me.
Yeah,
I got
so-
20 religion.
Okay, so
17 Arcana.
judging by both of your practices in regards to many things, you know that the component in the chance that he just described was not detect evil; it was detect poison and disease.
Ah.
And he looks
Makes sense. It's the sewers.
Yeah.
That's true.
He looks over, and after he looks over, he returns his gaze over to the body, and he kind of paws at the shirt for a bit, and then examines like a part of the shirt, and then pats it down, and then stands up again and says, well, whatever it was, they were utilizing some form of narcotic, I believe, a powder-based substance. Perhaps the person who was doing this was working alone and was remarkably unstable to begin with. Do you have any other information that I can work off of?
We know who the body is.
Oh?
Sho
It was
holds
Marcus Whitestone.
and Sho holds out the signet ring.
And he stands there motionless for a bit. He doesn't raise a hand to take the signet ring or anything. He just stares at it. And then, after a while, he just shakes his head and says, this is...
We also know the weapon used to make that big ugly hole in his head was a pick of some kind, like a regular pick, not a war pick. And we did end up talking to guards about it, and they think that it may have been one of the miners that was walking by. This happened 2 weeks ago, guys?
Yeah, around that time, yeah.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna briefly have him roll something. In secret.
We did lots of investigating.
You did lots of investigating. Okay. Yeah. So he kind of, as he takes in the information, he pauses for a moment, and then, you see the fingers on his free hand just kind of flex a little bit, and then he very subtly shakes his head to himself. And are you inciting him?
Yeah, is he angry?
Well, with an 18, you can tell that essentially he's considering an option of something, but then he dismisses it. He's kind of it seems to be doing his best to read all of you, but then...
I'm going to try and roll an insight because...
with the 17, you get that as well. He doesn't do much in regards to trying to hide his intentions, although the difficulty comes from the fact that he's wearing full plate with the full helmet and everything, so you can't see his face. And he kind of just looks back at the body and says, I'll pass the message along, and also bring in some of the other clerics in order to make sure that the body is properly buried and identified by Lord Whitestone. And yes, thank you.
The reason we found all of this is because we talked to Marcus. He left his spirit behind as a Poe. And, there's something that Renji can't hide, like his face is very pale from this idea that, like...
Someone who's only just a little bit older than you, still a
Yeah.
child, got brutally murdered.
Mhm.
Upon mentioning that there was a ghost, he kind of like tilts his head to the side slightly, and then he raises a hand and says something in kind of this weird, almost calming language, and then there's a pulse of blue from him, from a point actually between the lot of you that pulses out at least 15 feet, and he says, "Could you repeat that again, please?"
There was a Poe who possessed a young woman.
He wanted to look at the animals.
Yes, there is a pet shop in the commercial district. That's the only reason that we figured all of this out, was because the animals were disturbed every night by a presence, which turned out to be a young lady possessed by the Poe of Marcus Whitestone.
Sho raises his hand as like, if it would, Master Chaplain, in private, the spirit of young Marcus Whitestone did enclose some information that, if needs be, I may trust to you regarding why he refused to move on into the light.
And kind of like...
But his words were not intended for public. If I may enclose them to you in private, and then enclose the words who they were intended for, I think that would ease the young man's soul.
Okay.
He was really nice and helpful and answered all our questions.
And he's kind of nodding as you all say everything. It's like he's kind of contemplating everything that you said, considering what he's just done, and then he just goes, "All right, okay. If you need a message being passed on to something that would put his soul to rest, that would be most helpful."
Indeed.
He didn't deserve this. Renji just steps out of the small room again.
And the chaplain takes off his helmet, and you can see that he's got this like a fairly thin face and long black hair, which has been tied neatly in a ponytail. And putting his helmet under one arm, he gestures with the other one to Sho to come closer so he can have the information imparted to him.
Hikan leaves the room.
Sho does hello and quietly addresses to him what Marcus himself had told him.
Yeah.
Renji would like to eavesdrop.
Max with Naughton is also leaving the room.
I'll leave as well.
Okay, so Renji, make a perception check.
There we go. 20.
20. Okay, so I will impart to you. Let's see. Actually, Sho, since you're the one who's giving the information, make a stealth check.
Oh, am I good in stealth? Not really.
Are you?
I was going to say, shouldn't you have a fairly high dex? Okay.
It's not that. I've been rolling terrible today.
Also,
yeah. It's not my intention to I probably was referring to this nice man in secret. Unbeknownst to me, apparently. The secrets of the dead aren't sacred, apparently.
All right, I need to go and get the thing and then pass it over to. Okay, yeah, I'll just copy and paste it over. So now only 2 people can do this. Bam, done.
After relaying this to Larson, after taking his helmet off, I'm sure Sho will now. It's like, oh yes, now I know. Yeah, better with faces than with names.
Yeah.
And it's like, if would be appropriate, and if it would be given the blessings by Lord Whitestone, I would like to relay this information to Paul himself.
That seems appropriate. Now, I'm probably going to be up to my eyeballs in paperwork and investigations anyway. So
Indeed.
anything else you can do to help would be most appreciated.
Of course, Jeff.
Okay. Right. And then he puts his helmet back on and turns to the body and says, I best get started. If you head back up to the surface, and I'm sure that whoever you are employed by will be able to receive full rewards and reports based on your performances today. Thank you very much.
Right.
You've done a great service to this city and this kingdom and those who run it. And he does kind of like the standard at attention, heart to chest salute, and then goes back at ease and begins to examine the body more closely for excavation and transport.
Sho solemnly leaves, and as he leaves, it's like, we're leaving now.
Renji uses his magic to basically dry his own eyes and just lockstep with Sho leaves.
You heading back to Marcus then? The
Uh,
Poe version?
we'll have to go. Steam. What time? What would it be like? I think it's probably like early morning now, given.
It would still be dark outside. It'd be around about 3 o'clock in the morning by this point.
So, Paul.
Paul's probably still trying to get to sleep.
Yeah, and I don't think hitting him with this knowledge right now is probably the best thing. So I'll talk to him in the morning. But we're gonna find unless should I?
Should you?
Should.
This is probably the first good sleep he's gotten in weeks.
Yeah, I'll let him
Probably.
have this. I'll let him have this night. But yeah, when we go find Marcus, yeah, I guess we're gonna head to Marcus first, and then go back to Simeon's and sleep.
Okay.
Or the castle, depending.
Yeah. So you all head out through the double doors, and this time the guards, like Paulie and Tony, look around and it's like, hang on. It's just like as you kind of actually say, how many of you were down there? How'd you get down there?
There's a complete legion underneath the city.
Sho glares.
I just grin.
Right. Alright. Okay.
Flashes the writ. The what is
Raiden?
it? No, the writ of authority that I have.
Okay.
Just and keeps going.
Okay. Right. Paulie, we need to be like more in touch with the goings on in the city. It's like, I know. It's just so weird that you got all these people going back and forth. And like, we need to be kept in the loop. About a newsletter? I don't know about a newsletter because I never fucking get any newsletters, and so on and so on.
As this happens, oh yeah.
As he walks past, Max is just going to give an apologetic shrug.
You know, my monastery had a news caller. Maybe you guys could invest in one of those.
And Renji pipes up. Maybe you should ask for memos.
Just keep your ear as they out down the streets and do your jobs.
Right. Okay then. And they just kind of stand rather grumpily by the gates.
A good old harumph.
So you find your way back to the original place where you found where Marcus originally fell, which was the last place that Marcus was before you disappeared into the sewers. And there is stillness for a moment.
Sho, what's happening? Marcus,
Through the alley.
are you still here?
Yes. And he kind of just slowly slides out of the ground and looks at you, like up to his shoulders, and says, "What did you find?"
We found you.
Oh,
We found your body.
okay.
I'm sorry, Marcus.
I mean, he kind of already knew.
No one should have to. Yes.
Marcus, we are going to make sure that you can find rest.
Okay.
Marcus, tomorrow I'm going to go see Paul. Would you like to come with me?
Sure. I can do that.
Cool.
He's just he's trying and sadly failing to
Not cry.
not cry. But he kind of like ascends from the ground and says, when are you going to him?
I shall leave first thing tomorrow morning. If you would like, I can meet you here.
Okay. He kind of looks to his left and his right. I guess I'll find a place to hide for a moment. Thank you. And slowly slinks off in a direction back through a wall and disappears from sight.
Would it be a bad idea to take him back with us? Then he's got company.
You mean sort of a vigil for himself?
I don't know how these things work. I was just thinking that, if we were going to do stuff tomorrow morning, because we still got the bandit thing to take care of, and we could do that right afterwards. He could stay with us at Lord Simeon's or something. I don't know.
I'm just not entirely certain if it's the right call to bring.
No, it'll be fine at Lord
No.
Simeon. Better than doing so at the castle.
Yes,
I will stay at
you're right.
I will stay at Lord Simeon's this night, and Marcus, before you go, he calls out, knocking on the floor, I suppose. Ding, ding.
Yeah. Mark kind of slinks back and says, "Yes."
Would you prefer to come with us?
Make a persuasion check.
Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da, ba-da. Minus stat, best roll of the night.
He kind of contemplates it briefly, and then nods and says, "Okay." And as he says that, you hear the clank, 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 and you turn around and you see Tyrina, who's just kind of jogging towards you. It's just, there you guys are. What's up?
We found young Marcus's body.
You missed basically all of it.
Oh, well, there's no need to fill me in on details just yet. This...
Is the young lass safe?
Yeah. Her family were remarkably confused, but they were open to talking, as it were. At the very least, I assured them that she wasn't hurt, just sleepwalking.
Good.
Now, I suppose we'll be headed back to Lord Simeon's. I think we could all sleep.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'll be headed for the castle.
Okay.
Just, I
Sho's
need some rest.
Sho's going to spend the night at Lord Simeon's company. Marcus.
Yeah. So you slink back in to Lord Simeon's place. Renji, you head back to the castle. The guards on duty kind of, even though you present them with like your identification, all that kind of stuff as you usually do, they look at you rather skeptically, considering that you're heading back home at 3:00 in the morning. But they say nothing. They allow you to pass, and
Ain't their place.
yeah.
Ain't their place to question like Sheikah royalty.
Yeah.
No doubt there'll be rumors the next morning of my escapades.
Yeah.
And this
As-
time I didn't do anything.
And the rest of you head back to Lord Simeon's estate. You pass through. Marcus rather tactfully kind of just slinks under the ground to.
I was about to say, like, Sho would probably tell him to just sit in his shadow.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And you all go ahead and get your rest. You get the benefits of a long rest. Chances are you probably wake up. It's the majority of you, being Sheikah, wake up sometime at 7:00 in the morning. Tyrina wakes up.
I'm gonna have a lion.
You're gonna have a lion for another 4 hours.
Sho probably spends a bit of time staying up, just talking to Marcus, trying to have normal conversation.
Yeah.
And Renji is probably going to try and find his father to tell him about what happened to Marcus.
Okay. So we'll do the Marcus Sho discussion first. Basically, he's thankful for it. It's been a long time since he's actually talked properly to anybody, and you find out exactly what's been on his mind and all that kind of stuff. You find that the thing that he wants to talk about is not. It's not so much a case of like he doesn't feel that he wants to keep his real reason for going to speak to Paul secret because of any external forces. It's just in the sense of like he's a kid and he's embarrassed about that sort of thing. And it's more or less in that same direction that he kind of just opens up a bit more and is kind of regrets various other things like not being able to properly say goodbye to his father or his brother or any of that sort of thing. But the core regret is the one that he's already told you about. Yeah. And he kind of seems to relax a bit more, but there's still this ethereal, profound sadness to him, which kind of composes his entire being, sadly. So it's still kind of like a tired, depressed sort of tone to his voice.
Yeah. Sho lends an ear for as much as is needed, really.
Meanwhile, at the castle, Renji, you're wandering the halls, and outside of Lady Safiti's room, you see Nihilus, who's just kind of arms folded, still in full gear, just staring ahead. And he looks over to you and says, "You're up rather early, Renji."
Surprisingly early for how late I've gotten in. No doubt you've had your network tell you about it.
Well, a little. It's difficult not to. I mean, that's what the gossip stones are for, at least.
Did they tell you about? Did they tell you about what happened with?
News doesn't travel that fast, but I am aware of who you've spoken to.
See.
And I can assure you that at least the difficult mechanical part of the politics that go with it are going to be taken care of very carefully. My question is, though, how do you feel?
Renji has been hiding stuff for the last couple of weeks from his father, so he is kind of reserved in his answer. And he just says, with the job that we've taken on, I do feel worry, but at least we, as a group, are not being stalked so much as we are hunting the culprits. That makes me feel a little less worried about the whole situation, but I mean, Marcus and I, we didn't really talk much, but we knew each other. Mm-hmm. It's not strange. No, sorry, it's stupid that he was killed for someone else's anger at the structure of the nobility. Why?
People are a fundamentally confusing and broken machine. This much I know. And it doesn't matter exactly whether or not it's going to be Hylian or a Sheikah or a Goron or anybody. People change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And the important thing is that for the most part, we help each other. Because only that way do we find ourselves approaching some level of consistency, some level of being fixed, as it were. And I can imagine that no matter what we've done, or what the king has done, or what anybody will do in the future, that things will be hurt. People will be hurt. Feelings will be hurt. And we can only try our best to mitigate that.
Or at least make sure that the people who are hurt deserve it.
When it comes down to it, Renji, asking why is not going to be an easy question to ask, because sometimes you'll get an answer that hurts, sometimes you get an answer that will not make sense, or sometimes, for the most part, for the worst of it, you'll get an answer that makes too much sense.
Well, I fear I'm going to be disappointing you soon, Father. For I've always been a very curious type.
Well, as long as you do not get yourself killed like the proverbial cat, you go and seek your answers as much as you want, my son. Now go get some rest.
Renji nods and leaves. Good night, Father.
Good night. And he leans back against the wall, crosses his arms, and returns to his vigil. And as everybody settles in for the night, the hours pass, the morning comes, and you find yourself with another fairly decent warm day with an unbroken blue sky. Sho, as you wake up, you look and see that Renji is not Renji, that Marcus is indeed still around. He's kind of just picked a corner to float in. And as you wake up, he goes, "Good morning." Steve?
Was my mic muted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hooray!
we believed you were still asleep.
Yeah, it's like actually just like, okay. Ghost in my room!
Not a great thing to wake up to if you aren't expecting it. Yeah?
He wakes up, yawns, scratches his eyes, is like, "Good morning, Marcus."
He nods and then says, "I'll be floating outside for a bit. I'll wait for you to get ready." And it says that he kind of just slinks out the wall, and through the lack of screams, you presume that he's done so without being seen. You head down. If you're heading down for breakfast, there is definitely a breakfast. Simeon is there with his morning book and kind of propping himself up on the table with his elbows as he kind of very slowly and tiredly eats his toast and bacon, while the rest of the buffet food that is just on the table just radiates that nice, warm, inviting smell. Tyrina has already set about kind of like, she comes downstairs, takes out a plate immediately, just says, and then just sits down and begins eating without so much of the word. You hear Simeon go, morning, Lady Paladin," and she goes, and just,
Sho doesn't stay too long. He has a light breakfast, reasonably like only like a few bits of meat and whatnot, and cleans himself up and is like, "I should be escorting Marcus' spirit to the pet shop. I shall be back at some point."
and Tyrina just gives a thumbs up.
Tell the others where I've gone.
Okay. And Simeon's like, Morning, Master Daius. I do hope your ventures go well today."
As do I, Master Simeon. Shall return shortly.
Indeed. And you head out.
Yep.
And you spend the time going towards the commercial district. As you get closer to the pet shop with Marcus close on your tail, you hear the animals on the inside begin to bark, 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 meow, meow, squaw, and just this cacophony of hideous noise. And as you enter in, you see the two customers that are there just looking around very perturbed by the whole scenario. Just like, "What's going on?" And Paul, who's just kind of leaning on the counter, just they've never done this in the day. Oh, it's you," he says, seeing you, and waves over and says, "Hello. It's good to see you again."
Sho doffs his hat, and when it suits you, I wish to speak with you in private.
He nods and then looks to his animals and says, "I'm guessing that this is going to be pertaining to my animals."
Correct.
Okay. Excuse me, folks. I will be back in a moment. And he guides you into the back room, up some stairs, into the upper floor where he makes his home, which is basically just this kind of effectively a studio apartment sort of deal with a bed, a few cabinets, and a small kitchen area. And he kind of sits down on a chair and says, "So, what did you need to speak to me about then, sir?"
are acquainted with young Marcus Whitestone, correct?
That I am. That I am.
Last night, me and my compatriots, in response to your request, tracked our way to the sewer. He pulls out the signet ring and places it on the table. 2 weeks ago, Marcus Whitestone was murdered.
He kind of sits there and stares at it for a moment. You can tell that there's an aspect in his eyes that he just doesn't. He's having a hard time believing this. He just stares at the signet ring and doesn't say anything.
He had arisen again in spirit form as a poe. He had unfinished business in this world. Past nights, he had been, through hesitant volition, he had been possessing people and heading over to the shop at night. Animals are far more attuned with spirits as humans naturally are. It seems like they took notice of this and sensed an unrest, and that was why they were losing their calm. You said this has been happening since 2 weeks.
There's another hesitant pause. As he slowly nods, and there's like a dawn of realization on his face.
I'm sorry.
Well, at least I know where he is now. Is his family okay? Are they okay?
The authorities will be notified. He
Right.
had something he needed to tell you. But even still, I do not think it is my place to say it. Sho looks to the floor and is like, do you wish for me to explain it to him?
Make a... Actually, no, you won't need to make a roll for this. I think it's down to Marcus's own emotional, mental constitution for him to do it. And he rolls very well. And the ghostly voice of Marcus penetrates through and says, No, I think I should say. And the form slowly rises up, and as it does so, Paul just kind of, with a start, just kind of scrambles back out of his chair and then stands there and, as he sees Marcus, and then there's a brief moment of recognition as he looks over to Marcus and is like, Oh, Marcus, I'm sorry, I didn't... And Marcus simply says, No, it's okay. I just feel like I couldn't go anywhere without saying it. And Paul's like, Oh. And there's a pause as then Marcus looks up and finally smiles for once in a while and says, Paul, I haven't known you for very long, but I love you. And I couldn't be more thankful for you providing me with your company. I'm sorry for causing you too much trouble. And Paul just, like, tears well up in his eyes, and he begins to just sob as he reaches out to Marcus to try and comfort him in some way. And Marcus holds out a ghostly hand, to try and, like, stroke Paul's face, and says, I'm just glad that you're okay, and that we could spend some time together. And with a faint smile, Sho, you watch as the form of Marcus begins to very slowly fade out of view, before he's just gone. The last thing to disappear would be the lantern, where the light simply snuffs out and then disappears like dust in the wind. And Paul just falls to his knees and wails. Just at the top of his lungs, like he cannot contain himself any further.
Sho comforts him. He gets down, holds him, just tries his damnedest.
He just like he accepts the hug. He just cries into your shoulder, and it's a short while before he does finally calm himself down. And the only thing he really says is like, I need to close the shop for a bit. I just need some time. Just need some time.
You wish to keep the ring?
He nods. Like he nods into it. He nods into his hands.
I will explain to Lord Whitestone, as I believed it would be best for you. As it was. There is no recompense required. Instead, I shall offer you. I will see whoever done this. I will see them put to justice.
He doesn't say thank you or anything. He's just still kind of just on the floor, sort of with his face in his hands. He can't. He seems physically incapable of forming any kind of coherent dialogue. But you can tell that there is something there where he's just like thanking you for everything that you've done thus far. And there's not really much else of a response that he can give.
Sho hangs around for a little bit longer just to make sure he doesn't do anything rash out of his distraught before putting on his hat and quietly leaving, a dull thud with each step, just very somberly heading to Simeon's estate.
Yeah. Paul doesn't do anything too rash. He barely even moves from the spot that he's in. Given the wailing from upstairs, the customers have left. And the animals have indeed calmed down now that the ghost of Marcus Whitestone has passed on into the next life. You close the door behind you to Paul's menagerie pet shop and head back to Simeon's estate. The rest of you eventually join Tyrina and Simeon downstairs for breakfast. And it's at least an hour afterwards that Sho returns to the estate himself, entering the dining room.
When Sho comes in, he sees Hikan going or talking to Tyrina, catching her up, and then he goes, and that's how we met my new friend, the chaplain. Around a big old mouthful of food.
Yeah. And Tyrina's just kind of like, okay. Cool. I'm kind of pissed that I missed all the fun. Like, I wanted to hit an octopus in the face. That would have been great. Well, you guys have to tell me next
time. I punched an electric chew!
You see Ziden slowly turning and glaring.
Man, I have to do less escorting stuff, but that's not the point. She says, like, slams a fist down on the table and says, "We've done good. We have done great today. Or you have done great today. And that's the important thing. We've helped people out, and that's what matters. Hi, Sho. What's up?"
Hikan sees the glare and shrinks, looking down in his lap.
Sho quietly looks back and says, "Marcus Whitestone has passed on to the next. I've lost my appetite. I'm going to spend some time in my room."
Okay. Did you were we still planning on doing that other job that we had?
Yes.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly.
Alright then.
At that moment, Renji would make his appearance at the estate.
Okay.
And probably just get led into the dining room immediately, seeing everyone just nodding.
You see everybody. You see Simeon, who's sitting at the head of the table. It's quite clear by this point that he's just kind of sat and started sleeping, frozen in the pose where he's just kind of leaning on the table, book in one hand. Another sleepless night for the Lord of Education. The rest, like, Tyrina looks at you and nods. And there's plenty of space around the table.
I'll just sit and maybe take a bite of food.
And Tyrina looks to the others and says, "Well, what time are we going to be heading out? Because I've been told that this thing's a day's travel away."
Might as well head out as soon as possible. Does anyone have any unfinished business here?
No.
Renji would have put some, like, harsh emphasis on unfinished business there.
Sho returns, and as he does, there's a very definite shing, shing. And as he's walking by, he is wet. He's using a whetstone to hunt the edge of his sword.
Okay.
Come, if we leave now, we can make advance.
Okay. Well then, I'll just go and get my gear. And Tyrina stands and trudges back upstairs in like a quickness in her step.
Max follows to go fetch his staff from his room.
Okay.
Since Renji and Sho seem ready, I kind of asked them, would it be a good idea to go get some supplies or something before we go?
I suppose so. To get some rations, get some supplies.
Indeed.
Rations?
Yeah.
Why would we ever need those again? I could just make good berries. Good berries forever.
And technically, even if he couldn't, I know the wild stuff and I could provide food for everybody. We're at my limit.
Actually, I might need to find some camping gear.
I know a guy.
Well, I wonder who we're going to see.
Renji's a bit surprised that the out-of-towner knows a guy here, so is rather interested.
Sho's now thinking, like, I know many guys in town that may fit the bill. Which one's Hikan met?
He's not going to take him to Uriel, is he?
Honest, guys, I know a guy.
And at that moment, Sho's like, wait a minute.
Oh dear. So, flash cut to
Sebastian!
flash cut to the store. The rest of you in character haven't seen this yet, probably, but you find yourself in this fairly basic-looking store with this elongated sign on it saying "Sebastian's Normal General Store. ... Honest, guys." And And it seems like it has a single door at the front with windows there, and it seems like a very basic, normal general store.
Honest.
Save for the name.
Save for
Hikan
the
doesn't
name.
even wait, he just walks right inside.
Sho points to the sign is very much like, this is bait.
Renji is
Trust
going
me.
to keep a hand on the hilt of the Shadow Blade, Shadow Dagger, and is just going to step in gingerly.
Ziden will just shrug and walk in, because Hikan at least seems to have not been murdered the last time he was here.
Tyrina follows suit and just kind of like very slowly shakes her head with this wide grin.
And Max seems to have taken up the habit of being last in.
He's a very little scamp.
Someone's
You
gonna
ent-
watch your backs.
You enter inside and you see shelves and racks full of all these different, very basic venturing equipment, like camping tools, ration boxes, rope of various different kinds, poles, all this lovely stuff. And behind a desk, you see, turning around to greet you, is this blue-scaled, 7 foot tall, even when hunched over, Lizalfoss in what appears to be very basic clothes, and he has a very point obvious fake curly mustache on the front of his snout, and he goes, "Oh, hello! Welcome to Sebastian's normal general store. How am I to help you today?"
Hello, Mr. Sebastian. Hikan
Oh, it's
waves.
you! I do love returning customers.
Renji glances over at Hikan and then at Sebastian, then back at Hikan, and back at Sebastian. What is going on here?
To be honest, this does not surprise me in the least.
This lovely Hylian gentleman has always been very helpful to me. He helped me find a brewer's kit, and it's a good kit.
Oh, yeah, it's a very good brewer's kit. I only had the finest equipment in here.
I
Glancing
want to
over at
reiterate
Hikan,
that he can't put extreme emphasis on Hylian gentlemen.
Yeah, Renji just has a bit of a slack jaw. Hikan, we're going to have to talk to you about observational skills.
Tyrina just wanders over and clasps her hand really hard on your back and hand on the shoulder and say, "No, it's fine. Trust me. He's a normal Hylian," through gritted teeth.
What is going on here?
Max is just gonna lean over to Ziden and say, "It is a lizard."
Ziden doesn't care, he can turn into a lizard.
I know, but
You might just be a druid, haven't you thought about that?
Can I
Do
tell?
I hear the whisper? He's a lizard.
Make a perception check and make a stealth
14.
check, Max, if you don't want anybody else to hear you.
10.
Okay, so you barely hear Max go, "But he's a lizard, though."
Hikan's eyes just slowly turn. It's like, come on, guys, he's a Hylian. Wink, wink.
I'm just gonna look at kind of that, just shrug.
Sho
Renji's size, looking at Sho.
doffs his hat and is just like, well, I don't know what all of you are talking about. I see a respectable Hylian gentleman who is kind enough to offer us his wares.
Oh, you're
Renji
too
just
kind.
rolls his eyes again. I
Ziden.
don't know what this inside joke is, but I am not in on it.
Ziden will say hello in Druidic.
There's a pause, and then Sebastian goes, "I do not know that language. I'm sorry. I only speak a common."
Right.
Anyway, this... Right. I came here for supplies. Whatever is going on, apart from that, I am not in the least interested. I need a bedroll. I would prefer a tent if you have it.
I was looking for camping supplies, if you have any, Mr. Sebastian.
Oh, I think I can supply that. Let's see. So you were looking for a bedroll, a tent for how many people? Two people? 2 people a tent? Okay. Let us see now.
I
Did
just
you need
need
a
the
mesa
one,
kit?
but- No, I don't think so.
What about the blanket?
That would be useful, yes.
And the bucket? Did you need a bucket?
Why would... No, I don't need a bucket.
What about the pouch? Oh no, you've got the backpack. Okay, so that is one a bedroll, one a tent, possibly what was the other thing?
A blanket.
That's the one. Let us see. So at the moment that runs us around. That'd be 3 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces.
Still, like, a bit flabbergasted and bemused at Sebastian's sales pitch. Renji's just going to go, yeah, yes, all right, and procure 4 gold pieces and put them on the counter.
Okay, so it looks like
Man, he's making a lot in tips from us.
Also, Renji picks out another gold piece. Do you have any ball bearings?
A ball of bearings. Oh, that I do. Here. And as he's getting the other stuff, which is quite literally a rolled-up bedroll, a fairly somewhat sizable sack which contains a tent, and the blanket. He also brings out like a small sack of ball bearings, which have like a little embroidered silver circle on the front, and he plonks them down to the as you hear the ball bearings move and says, "Want a bag of ball bearings?"
Excellent. I believe I am owed some change.
Let us see. So that would be 3 gold. So it's 1 gold apiece for the bedroll, 2 gold pieces for the tent, 5 silver pieces for the blanket, and 1 gold apiece for the ball bearing. So that would be 4 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces, please.
There are already 5 gold pieces on the counter.
Ah, not a problem. And he takes them up. He doesn't even count them. He just and then he puts on the 5 silver pieces as change. There. There you go, my friend.
I look at the silver pieces just to make sure they're actual Hylian minted silver pieces.
Make a perception check.
All right, there we go, and that is a 5, a natural 1.
Natural 1. You kind of like look over them and say, I guess they fit the bill.
They're shiny. They're round.
They're shiny and round. They suit the purpose.
I make
They're
sure
more
that
magnificent than Uriel.
I put them back, and I put the bag of ball bearings in my bag of holding, the blanket as well. I'm going to hold off on putting the bedroll and the tent in there, since I am a bit hesitant about anyone other than us finding out about my bag of holding.
Okay, seems fair. And he says, that is nice. Thank you very much for your service. Is there anything else I can do for any of you? And he, like, looking around, like, enthusiastically nodding as he does so.
Max is just staring at the moustache.
Out of curiosity, you said that it's a curly mustache. Is it like different in any way?
Did he go from having a Salvador Dali to a Pringles mustache today?
make a perception check.
24?
It looks vaguely the same as the first mustache, but there are subtle differences that suggest that potentially you might have switched out for a different one.
Did you get a trim?
Oh, stop! You're making me blush!
But yeah, did anyone else need anything? Or because I mean, he's pretty efficient. He found a brewer's kit really quick, and well, we saw how fast he got Renji's stuff.
No, I'm good.
All I need is a fire for a campsite.
Do you need a tinderbox?
No, I have magic.
But I mean, that's magic, and you can't use it all the time. You can't just kicks a stone if there's one in there.
Kicks a stone inside. Wait.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find the actual stuff for campfire.
I think I have a tinderbox in my pack.
It's in the Explorer's pack, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Burglar's pack.
Yep.
And the
I
Dungeoneer's pack.
I have a War's pack as my class, so I already have a bedroll and all that shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a pack for making a campfire, though I guess the book kind of assumes that you just take wood where you find it.
Yeah.
I say, let us just say, for the moment, he goes away and comes back with a bundle of wood wrapped up in some simple string.
Is it like Breath of the Wild bundle of wood?
Yes. And he...
Because that makes all the... It's like,
Guys, I don't think you understand. This is Breath of the Wild bundled wood.
See, that right there just proves how honest Sebastian is. He
brings bundled wood
From the future.
So he puts it down and says...
Just with the times, you know?
I will sell you this for 1 gold apiece, if that is okay.
Sho, bang, flips the coin.
He catches it. Oh, thank you very much. Puts it away.
I would like to purchase 3 vials, if you have them.
3 vials, Okay, let us see. Any particular shape? Did you need something like a potion bottle, or like a test tube, or something like that?
Oh no, just simply to gather anything which seems worth having.
Okay, so this is a 1 gold apiece per vial. Glasses are very expensive, you know. And
fucking glassmakers have a monopoly on the Hyrulean economy. Having to go through dungeons to get bottles. Christ, man.
He comes back with the number of vials you requested and puts them on the counter.
I shall put 3 gold pieces on the counter.
He enthusiastically nods and takes the gold pieces, puts them in his pouch, and says, "Thank you very much."
I now have some vials in case I want to store more choo-choo jelly.
Are we all set?
Yes.
Alright, I do have a quick stop at the castle. Renji's just going to get 2 sets of clean clothes. That's it.
Okay. So, yeah, as you leave, Sebastian's like, "Thank you very much for coming. Come back again anytime soon, okay?" And the door closes behind you. Renji, you can easily duck in and out of the castle quite swiftly enough in order to find yourself the clothes you need.
Yeah, just a set of finer clothes and then some rougher training gear, basically. Just outdoorsy type stuff.
Okay. And as you head towards the east gate out of town, which is in the direction of where you need to go, you find yourself confronted with the wide open expanse of Hyrule Field once again. And Tyrina turns to the rest of you and says, "Okay, we'll be gone for a day or 2, so everybody set?"
Indeed.
This is the exact moment where it's the text box pops up. It's you will not be able to return for some time. Yes or no? I was smash that motherfucker.
So
Yes.
it's 1 day of travel by foot.
But we ain't no pansies.
We're no peasants, that's what you mean.
I might be.
Not
I'm
anymore,
most
you aren't.
definitely a peasant.
I have no idea, but I might be.
I suggest we find a stables and get some horses.
How much does that cost?
Also, to be unwise, if we accidentally extend bandit territory and we get said horses
Killed.
Or stolen.
Mm.
Or eaten.
We're made of stronger stuff than having our horses stolen or killed. We can handle.
Or eaten.
What quality horses are you going for?
Well, I'm thinking of. Is there a way of like renting horses at Hyrule Castle?
I'm surprised you don't have one.
I probably have one.
You can. I'm gonna
But
say
that's his pride. That's his prize animal. That's you can't just take that willy nilly.
No.
I'm gonna say that potentially what you'd need to do is you'd need to ask the people who own the stable. There is a stable situated just outside the Hyrule Castle, at like each gate. But if you want really, really quality horses, you know where to go, and that
You
would be
won't
Long
go
Ranch.
Long Ranch, but we ain't going there right now because if we did, we get sidetracked by a drunken child.
That's true.
Hikan's hogtied on the back of the horse on the way out, crying.
We are walking.
Are there wild horses by chance? Speaking of Breath of the Wild references.
Make a nature check.
0. I don't know.
0.
What's a horse?
A 0 that wasn't even a nat 1.
What are frogs?
-2 to intelligence, everybody. -2.
What are frogs?
You're pretty
are
sure
frogs?
that it's not hot. It's not like the environment for horses. This is this biome is definitely not the place you would find horses. You say as you look over the rolling hills and fields of Hyrule Field.
Yeah, they're totally native to the desert.
Yeah.
We're walking and builds carry.
Maybe why.
Renji just sighs.
We could take turns riding the bear.
I mean, I can only transform for, I think it's 2 hours.
Oh.
And I will not
First-
be riding that animal.
Plus, he might need to be a bear for the bandits.
Well, we can take a short rest before we go to deal with them.
Walking.
Okay, so you head out into Hyrule Field. It takes about because you've slept in fairly late and had to deal with business in the morning. It's about you get a fair distance out on the open road along the lesser-known road that you were directed to follow, where the bandit trouble had occurred. Heading to the northeast, you wander past various different people moving along the road, exiting the farmland that surrounds Hyrule Castle town, and you feel the cooling breeze on the hot day as you move away from the fields and into small areas of woodland. And just in the distance, you can see this kind of raised cliff edge. Where the road seems to head towards, and you presume as the sun begins to set that is where you need to be in order to deal with the situation at hand. And you get to around about here on the map.
Could you give us more, sights?
This-
Because I'm not sure what kind of, on the map, what kind of thing you mean.
Let's see. So essentially, you continue. You have headed northeast from Hyrule Castle town, moving along one of the less known roads. The area that you're currently in now is sparsely covered in trees.
I know that. I was
yeah.
I don't see the cliff edge on the map, or is it just not there?
It's just not there.
All right, on the map. Okay, so there
Yeah.
is a road that heads up here through a mountain pass, and these bandits are doing an assholey pay for toll kind of shtick.
Yeah. It's not so much mountainous. It's just there is a rise.
A craggy road.
A craggy road.
My favorite ice cream.
Yeah. So and you see it a fair distance away. It'll probably be night by the time you get there. if you were to continue going on now, so you either have the choice of making camp and then continuing on later on, or you can head there now and deal with the situation under cover of darkness.
Sho turns to the others and raises this point.
Hikan turns to Tyrina and Max, the people who need more sleep. Are you okay to go?
I mean, I slept in for a while.
I'm okay to go. And I guess I'll be able to see, in a sense. I've got some rods.
Well, in that case, why not press on?
Then we shall.
Attack under the cover of night.
That is the plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep low and keep. Only use the sun rods if you are in desperate need to do so.
You will not be able. You will be able to see, but others will be able to see the source of the light itself.
It's a bandit camp, right? They're bound to have at least a fire.
True, but they have one fire, perhaps, or at least as many fires as they know how to deal with. If there is another
or candles, and Hikan just starts listing off other sources of light.
Yes, maybe they have somehow managed to procure a shaman with the ability of harnessing the power of stars.
I am starting to tire of rolling my eyes, it seems.
Okay. Let's see now. I just need to adjust a few things, so I'll be with you very briefly. As you continue on ahead, you can see as the sun begins to set, several lights along the edge of this rise begin to pop on, like one at a time, in a inconsistent pattern.
I wonder what those are, Hikan. Torches? Candles?
As you get closer, you can see that the actual rise that is there is much taller than expected, and there's lots of rocks and loose boulders situated around. And as you get closer, you can definitely see that there appears to be a boulder which has been placed or moved to be in front, blocking the stair access that has been carved into the side of the cliff.
How big is said boulder?
Said boulder is about 10 foot cubed.
What spells do I have that could explode this?
How tall is the rampart by chance?
Make a perception check as you approach.
Modified 20?
Modified 20. At best estimate, you can say probably around about 30 feet tall, and it's rather steep.
Jump ring on, Hikan. Do your business.
I was about to say, I'll use the ring of jump. That
Make
doubles
sure-
my jump thing. I'm trying to double check high jump rules specifically.
Meanwhile, does the boulder look climbable?
The boulder appears to be like almost like a sphere sort of thing, so it would be climbable, but it'd be difficult, especially when you're coming at it from the if you're on the side of the stairs.
It becomes a reverse face.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to push it along to a maybe pressure plate, which would open a door of some kind?
Okay, how much do you have? Is you a strong enough boy to push a 10-foot cubed slab of rock? You ain't got no golden gauntlets as far as I'm seeing.
There we go. So as you approach, are you approaching brazen? I've put you on the combat map at the moment, but are you approaching brazenly, or are you trying to approach sneakily?
Sneakily.
Sneakily. So those approaching sneakily and without the use of a light source, please make a stealth check
Crit.
of some description. Nice. So Max
Well
is
done.
unseen.
15?
Unfucking detectable.
Okay.
21 for me.
Okay.
20 for me.
16.
Okay. 16.
Quiet boys.
Let's see. That's the wrong folder. Where's my folder? Humanoid, assorted thuggery, bandits. There we go.
Assorted Thuggery is an amazing rap album name.
Not to be confused with sorted thuggery.
I
Assorted
see.
Thuggery is the same principle, but done by SoundCloud rappers. Ugh.
Okay.
So it's dark over here, right?
Yeah. So it's nice and dark. So they've got their torches available, which is why they're generating this light and can see stuff. But as they're approaching, I'm gonna have Tyrina attempt a stealth as well.
Oh no! Hey!
Wow.
Disadvantage!
That is
At
not bad.
disadvantage, Tyrina rolls an 18, so she is also unseen.
I'm going to.
So since you said that it is 40 feet up, I cannot do it without using Step of the Wind as well. So I'm going to spend a key point and use the Ring of Jump to jump right over here, if possible.
Okay.
We're
sure.
this way.
Before it bounds off, Sho's like, do you have a rope?
Good point. I look through my pack. I do not.
Sho gives him his rope.
Thank
Shall-
you.
Shall I go? Shall I go up with him?
Can you jump up that high?
I can climb that high.
Or if he could turn small, he could just ride on my back.
Fuck small. I'm gonna turn to a giant spider.
That works too.
Just
I was
turns,
like,
just
do you
turns
have
into
anything
a
with a climb speed? You do
just
have a climb
turns
speed.
into a fucking Skulltula and just climbs up the bloody rock face.
Yep.
How long was the rope you lended me?
Standard Explorer's Pack rope, so 50 feet.
I guess I'll go up. I'll put myself in the corner for that Ziden.
Okay.
Go up with you.
From where I'm standing, can I see the bandits on the edge of the cliff?
Yeah, they've positioned themselves with a series of crossbows. There's one guy, there's a bigger dude in somewhat more important-looking, ragged leather armor, who's walking back and forth, just kind of giving, like, mumbling orders to his men. It's just like, you just make sure, as we planned, that we only move the boulder when people pay up. All right? We've been doing this for about a week now. It hasn't gone wrong. And so on and so forth.
Wow, how nice
As this happens,
Like,
I would like to use Misty Step to get up on the ledge
He's
along
gonna
with
sh-
the
he's gonna-
bandits.
He's gonna shoo shut behind him.
Okay.
As
So,
he's doing that,
I'm going to get over here.
Hide in
Or-
the bushes.
I'm going to get over around here in the bushes, and as the bandit captain says this, I'm going to call out, "But what if they don't pay? I forgot."
Make a deception roll.
As Sho is like climbing up the
That's a 14.
as Sho's climbing up the rope that like Hikan's fed down to him, he's like, why? Why?
Yeah, I like that as well.
Using the rope to just sneakily
Yeah.
hide in the bushes. Be sneaky.
Okay.
and then when Tyrina
so
gets
that's-
up, we'll go ahead and untie the rope.
Yeah. So Tyrina just clanks over. She's going to need to make another stealth check.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
We-
This doesn't go as well.
So
Oh, no.
so as you progress over, like all of you get on top of the cliff unseen, except for
I'm not on.
Tyrina.
Wait. I'm not on top of the cliff. I'm on the side of the cliff.
Oh, you're on the side of the cliff.
He's still spider facing up the cliff.
You're still spider facing. Okay.
This guy is in so much trouble.
I'm inside this bush.
Okay.
I am
So
behind. And
as they're maneuvering around, Tyrina moves forward, and there's a clank, clank, clank. At which point, all of them immediately turn their crossbows in that direction. You know, who's there? State your business. And then Tyrina's like, shit. Hi. Just kind of stands there.
the
and is like,
moment the hi is said, Sho puts out his palm, and I'm going to chromatic orb the shit out of this poor asshole right here.
okay. So you make
like,
your attack. with advantage, and then after that we roll initiative.
It's like, hi.
So you're all stealth, so you do get a surprise round. Actually,
Yeah,
everybody roll initiative now, and then we'll do the surprise round.
Okay.
11.
19.
Plus. So
That's 15 for me.
A solid 19 for your speed boy. So I will get to lead the surprise round and go first.
oh,
Yeah, you're probably going before me.
Yeah,
So Spider.
What's your
That's
dex?
fine.
Plus 3.
Yeah, it's the same. Ty.
I will let you go first. Because you said what you were doing first.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh,
Jen-
Spider's last.
Okay. Spider's too busy enjoying the fact that, wow, this is cool.
So we're gonna adjust
I'm on a
this,
wall.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's
This thing.
roll this chromatic orb. One advantage. 14.
14. I'll get myself some battle music here. This will do. Okay.
Going to blast him with the thunderball, so hopefully, boof. The
So you
like,
hit with the.
does it like
Right.
blast him off the thing because he's unprepared?
I will make him have a dex save. He survives being hit by the ball of thunder as it rockets into his back and hits him square between the shoulder blades. But what I'll do is I'll also, as said, make a dexterity save to see if he manages to save himself from tumbling off the side. He rolls a 14, which I think is decent enough for him to be able to just kind of balance himself.
Hold on.
Fuck!
He does.
They're behind us! He declares.
He does the Smash Bros like at the edge of the ledge, like whoa.
So Max,
1 foot leaning up.
you have a surprisey roundy thing.
I'm going to drop a fog cloud up around these 3, including the captain.
Okay.
So starting round. Just hold on.
I was gonna say you have your
20-foot radius sphere.
20-foot radius sphere.
So
Okay.
around here-ish. Primarily trying to stop them from firing down this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like I can't see. Smoke grenade.
4 says
Oh my god! I just noticed that what's wrong. Shows blasted the poor guy with the thunderbolt and the thunder chromatic orb, and he's like, "Oh no!"
It's
leaning
not
over
the-
leaning over the edge and sees the fact that there is a giant skulltula on the wall.
so it's not a
It's not a
perfect
different wall.
square, but it
Uh,
no,
designates a thing.
it's the same wall.
It's not like they're going downstairs anyway.
Yeah.
Wasn't he over here?
No, I shot this guy.
Oh, Sho, right. Oh, that guy is even more in trouble than I thought.
Yeah. Like
So
he
the-
looked over and saw, "Hello, giant spider."
So the bandits can't go because of surprise round. So Renji.
Well then, there is this one bandit outside of the fog cloud, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes. I
That's
wish.
specifically why I put it further down this way.
I thank you.
To murder.
Noticing this fog cloud appearing, I'm just thanking my companions for tactical thinking, and I will stab this creature with the Shadow Dagger,
Okay.
which is enhanced by my Hex Warrior's bonus. So
Okay.
I'm going to.
And also, you deal extra damage if you crit, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. I
There's a
haven't-
lot of damage on crits.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's like
done,
once in a
that.
moment that you crit with it, it's like boom, found the chink in the armor. You dare ass.
Hold on. So that's a 14,
That's a hit.
and then.
Although, did you want to roll again because you have advantage because of surprise
Oh,
round?
right.
So you can, yeah. So see if you
Oh.
get that natural 20.
Oh, if you get that natural 20, that's damage.
That
Plus
would be nice.
plus 2d6
No.
extra. hit.
Nah. Okay. So 14 is a hit.
That would
So-
be a 1d4 plus 3,
Okay.
and that's 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay, so you emerge from the bushes and just stab this guy and say "Flah!" as the blade bites into his arm.
Because he knows that I like snakes, and the snake transforms as blood. It's me, and he stabs me.
Loki!
So the bandit can't go. Hikan.
Oh, time to punch this poor sword.
He can't whacks him with his stick.
Fuck you, stick.
13.
That's a hit.
Stick.
Alrighty, 9 bludgeoning damage
Yeah.
to this guy, and then I'm going to use flurry of blows,
Okay.
and then I'm going to punch this guy once.
Yeah. There we
20
go.
to hit.
That's a hit, and you just you smack him so hard in the back of the head, it just he loses balance and tumbles down the cliff edge, his crumpled body just falling the distance, and the torch goes with him.
The last thing he sees is his friend about to be eaten by a giant spider.
Yeah.
And then using all of my bonus movement, thanks to my drunken technique, I'm going to run right into the fog cloud next to the bandit captain and his friend.
Coming in.
And can I see them? By chance?
I don't think the fog, unless did you use any sorcery points to exclude targets from your fog cloud?
I can't.
Okay, so you are also affected by what is the fog cloud.
But you get to do the good old, like, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I will go ahead and use my last unarmed strike to punch the captain.
Okay.
22 to hit.
22 to hit, and that is indeed a hit, dealing 8 points of damage to him. So you managed to sink into the mists and just strike forward and find your target, and he is the hurt.
In pain.
In pain.
And that's my turn. So
Okay.
Nice.
So Ziden, the spider.
Oh yes, as this guy has just got a lovely thunder orb to the back, he's leaning forward, he made his dexterity saving throw, the spider's going to jump up and bite him in the face.
Oh no!
Okay. Make your bite attack.
Critical hit.
Oh no!
That's a critical hit for
Oh no! 19 damage.
Plus 13 poison.
Plus 13 poison if he fails it. He's dead. He dead ass.
I'll let him do a Constitution save to see if he does anything. No. So you get enough to kill him
People
twice
playing
over.
the home game. That was a Constitution save against against an 11 with 6
Yeah.
for
you just
13 damage.
So there's kind of like this record scratch. It's like, hi, I'm a bandit. I bet you're wondering how I got myself into this. And it's just, as this enormous skulltula just reaches up with his many spindly legs and his hideous poison mandibles and just snatches this guy. Show him actually watch this straight out of any kind of horror story you might have been told. As out of the darkness, this skulltula grabs a poor helpless man and drags him off the cliff.
shows like there with his palm out and it's like, oh.
And I forgot to roll. Did I roll initiative for Tyrina? She wouldn't matter because she wouldn't have had any surprise round anyway. But I'll roll for her anyway. She gets a 19.
She was
Nice.
caught. She was caught like climbing up the thing. So she's like,
Yeah.
She'll probably be spending her first time finishing her climb.
Yeah. So she's kind of situated herself there. Sweet. And then it gets to actual combat. Sho.
Wait. I've horribly murdered this guy, but I'm still going to move over here.
Okay. Okay. So you've moved over there. Sho, it's your go.
Everyone stopped me from fire breathing these guys, and I'm going to move my 30 feet. Trying to think what I could do, because like I can't get past him because once again, giant animal is obstructing everyone's progress. Like I could like.
I mean,
I'm an agile person. I could hop up here.
I could say I'm just on the edge of the rock. It's a spider. It can climb across.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's fair. Can we say that?
Yeah, that's fine.
So I am. So
I'm there on the edge of the rock.
So I'm here.
Okay.
With your giant
I-
spider friend right next to you,
Yeah, I'm
dripping venom,
Mm.
and this guy's blood. So much of this guy's blood.
How's about fuck shut up, asshole?
Okay, so, Sho, what you doing? So you've moved.
I'm going to spend my turn using a cantrip, and I'm just going to. I'm gonna true strike something in the mist.
Uh-oh, there's an ally in the mist.
The idea is basically I'm going to true strike something in the mist.
Okay, so
The
you
hairs on the
can't.
back of Hikan's neck stand on end.
Yeah, like I don't know. Roll a 1d4. Who am I like focusing on?
You can do if you want to.
Because I guess I would try and like see into the like and use my mind like try and see into the spot where the bandits were. So like the one on the ledge essentially, like probably like this one or this one.
Okay.
I like to try and like get a bead on them.
Yeah. So you know where like the ledge of the cliff would generally be, so you can. Yeah.
So basically, it's just like okay, think about where they are in the fog. Where were they before they? How are they going to act? So that the next turn I can just run in there and strike with advantage because I spend the time actually being smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Okay. Max.
Think about my options. I'm gonna come up to here-ish, I think.
It's still in
Yes.
the bushes. From bush to bush.
That's within range, and I guess I could remember where this guy was.
Okay.
I'm gonna magic missile.
That's true. Magic missile can't miss.
As long as you visualize where they were.
So you kind of see.
He's just there, and then 3 glowing blue darts appear out of nowhere and strike him in the face.
Yeah, so you see like you watch as your darts just kind of disappear into the fog cloud here. From amidst the cloud.
For 8 damage.
8 damage, nice. And yeah, is there anything you just want to do on your turn?
Nope.
Okay. Tyrina is going to spend her time climbing up onto the cliff. Just kind of like, well then. The bandits. There is like.
Max is also gonna, when Cherry comes up, just point to the cloud, go, they're in that.
Okay, great.
Hikan is as well. Do not be perturbed by the giant spider.
The bandits.
I'm just imagining that Hikan can't see or hasn't seen the giant spider yet, and then when that happens, he's just gonna shriek again because apparently spiders are his one weakness.
The bandits in the clouds, the one that's not in the cloud actually is going to turn and try and retaliate against Renji, drawing a hand axe and up to swing at him.
Oh boy.
Getting a 19 versus AC.
Oh, just barely hits.
But
You take a single point of slashing damage.
Oh no.
Oof. That's the Roblox oof right there.
Yeah. The bandit that's next to Hikan like turns around and feels a person next to him. It's like, right. Draws his axe and swings madly into
Oh
the
my
fog
god,
cloud.
if he critical fails, can he hit his boss?
Too far away.
Hit that one!
Oi,
So-
arm your mate, you zogging git. Oh, crit! Nice!
Oh no, he has
Disadvantage.
disadvantage because of the fog cloud. So he only rolls a 4, so he misses. He just swings wildly and see the mist mildly disturbed. The bandit is the one that was hit with the magic missile is going to turn around with his crossbow and try the same thing.
Fire
Hit me. Go ahead. Do it. I dare you.
Go ahead.
Disadvantage. 12 versus your AC. You probably
12
doesn't
doesn't
do anything.
hit.
Just sails
Swing and a
past.
miss.
And yeah, that would be their turn. Although the one with the crossbow is going to sidle off, tumble through this bush, and then just get there. The one with the hand axe is going to stay where he is. Renji.
Seeing that I still have my dagger, I am going to cast the Hexblade's Curse on my enemy over here just next to me.
Okay.
That will give me a bonus to damage rolls, and any attack roll that I make, if it's a 19 or a 20, it is a critical hit.
Oh, how conducive to your dagger.
Indeed.
That's cool. That's some synergy right there.
So
That
I
is
will
some synergy.
attack with my dagger.
Get
Okay.
19, get 19, get 19, get 19, get 19, get 19.
That is a 19. Well, no, that's a 14. Or a 19 if I still have advantage, which I'm not sure I do.
You
Maybe
do
a
not
24
anymore because we've
or a
now
19.
hit in we're now in actual combat.
Okay, so that is just 7 slashing
Wait,
damage.
why is it...
Wait, hold on. No, that's no, not
says
7.
nine.
That's 9 slashing damage.
It says,
Okay.
But wait, it says 19 to 24. Where did you get 14 from?
Because he rolled a natural 14.
Oh.
So he has a +5 to his attack.
Oh.
Yeah. So
And disregard the cold damage. It only works when it's in crit.
Right, okay.
you kind of do this hooking slash as you push your arm forward to attack him with the dagger, and you catch him in the jugular, and he just crumbles to the floor.
Brutal.
Fucking brutal. So yeah, your quarry has passed away, and before you is this bank of fog that has materialized in the battle.
And he hit me with an axe, right?
He hit you with an axe, yeah.
Right. So, where exactly did that happen?
Well, it was very light greys, so I imagine.
Yeah,
it
so
hit
like
your arm.
you brought up your shield in order to block it, and it managed to catch. There's a slight cut against your cheek.
Right. As he dies, that wound just closes up.
Ooh, nice.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Wait,
yeah.
no.
If the cursed target dies, you regain hit points
Yeah.
equal to your warlock level plus charisma modifier. Minimum of 1 hit point.
Oh dear. Okay. Are you going to do anything else on your turn? You have a bonus action and a move if you wish to, unless you use your bonus action to Hexblade Curses.
Hexblade Curse is a bonus action, yes.
Okay.
I do wish to summon my actual Twilight Longsword, but I don't have the action for it.
Okay. You're going to stay where you are?
I am actually going to move around the fog cloud for a bit. And go over here.
Okay. On the bandit captain's turn, he's going to move away from Hikan over here, so you get an opportunity attack.
For the disadvantage.
Is it disadvantage? Okay.
Yeah, because of the fog cloud. So it's an 8 to hit, which misses him. He manages to slink out of the way. Now, as he disappears into the fog, he's going to roll a thing.
A thing?
He's going to roll a thing.
A thing.
Stealth.
Okay. He's not going to roll stealth. He's going to roll an athletics. And as he disappears, and there's like a... and there's a shifting of rock. At which point, some of you can hear the shifting of rock, and Renji, who can see the boulder in front of him rise from the ground. Remember that the missive about this mission was that the bandit captain was much stronger than his companions. And and in one fell swoop, just suplexes this boulder behind him, and it rolls past. So I want Hikan, I want Sho, I want the spider to make a dexterity save.
Okay.
Do I get a bonus because I'm already in the air, like up on the boulder?
I'm going to say no on this because the boulder's actually remarkably large.
Okay.
It's a big ass boulder.
So this boulder just moves
Guess you
all
crit,
the
guess
way.
you crit failed, motherfucker. I was like, alright, I'm focusing on the target, and then, oh no.
Exactly, the bandit captain is prone because he had to really
He did everything.
use his body weight to fling the boulder.
Oh no.
Okay, so what did everybody get?
Crit fail!
22.
22. Okay. And Hikan, you got a
9.
9. Okay. You're not of the high enough level to get the evasion feature for your class yet, are you?
No.
Hold on. Hold on.
Allow me a minute.
Does this count as a ranged weapon attack?
Do you wish to catch the projectile?
I will catch the
Are you
projectile
trying?
holder and throw it back at him.
This isn't an Octorok, son.
Okay.
This is the equivalent of the Gigantoroks in Wind Waker spitting a boulder.
I would say let me have a read of it specifically.
If you reduce the damage to 0, you can catch it if it is small enough to fit in one hand, and you have one hand free.
It's not small enough for one hand.
Unless you got them big ass hands, and you don't.
He can do it! I can do it!
When you do so,
Make you use both hands.
Okay, so the one thing I would say about this one is that it's specific, like a ranged weapon attack. Technically, this is an area effect, which is why it required a dex save.
Fair enough. I figured that I'd ask.
It would be. I would admit it would be very cool, but
If like you saw the rock coming, and like as a counter to the suplex, our boy Hikan just stiffs his feet in and just Earthbender style just buries him. It's like, I will not move. The rock will move, and just punches the fucking rock.
So those of you who got less than 13,
That'd be me.
you take 15 bludgeoning damage.
That's a
as
big
you are
oof.
smacked in the face with a boulder.
That is a
and
big
and for the one who passed, you take half that, so 7.
There we go.
Guess who's at 6 health in 1 turn, lads?
And what I'm going to say as well is that boulder manages to knock the other boulder by the stairs, so it begins to tumble down below and go onto the lower floor. It's a good thing Tyrina moved, otherwise she would have been screwed as well.
Cheap burial.
Cheap burial. Oh, your poor paladin friend.
I was talking about the dead bandit.
Oh, right, I see.
Just because no one else is going to say it. Sheikah!
Hikan, it's your turn.
Is that a JoJo reference? Yes, it is.
As my free action, I'm going to shout so hopefully Max can hear it. I can't see! And then I will go ahead and use my movement action to run at the bastard who decides to throw rocks at all of us.
Yep.
And I am not going to disengage, so he can go ahead and take an opportunity attack if he'd like.
He does his pathetic disadvantaged weapon attack and gets a 7, so he misses.
And then I'm going to swing at the proned bandit captain with my quarterstaff.
Okay.
25.
25, that's a hit. 5.
And then I'm going to use my last key point for my flurry of blows.
Yeah.
18.
18 hits, that's
For
another
6.
6 points of damage.
And I'm going to guess an 11 doesn't.
11 sadly does not hit.
Alright. It's like, that hurt! And that's my turn.
Okay.
Big
let's
tonight,
see.
lads. I ate that rock.
So, giant spider.
Yes. So, there's a momentary lull in the battle, a soft skittering noise.
That ain't
Giant.
soft.
Hey, spiders can be soft even if they're giant.
You're an 8-foot spider.
Is
Ain't
this
no mass.
flanking or not?
Not until the bandit captain stands up.
Okay. So, yes, emerging just close enough in the fog, getting
no.
right up in his face.
That must be scary.
Yes, he's prone on the ground, blood dripping from its face, acid dripping from its fangs will screech in his face.
Time to feast.
Okay.
Oh no.
And I have blind sight, so I had advantage on this attack.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, so you do. The fog cloud doesn't matter a damn thing about this.
Oh no.
It says 24 hit for 7 damage. He's going to try and make his Constitution save in order to avoid being poisoned. He doesn't have proficiency in it, sadly.
He still
makes
get it.
16, so he doesn't take the poison damage.
Strong.
he
Or
takes
half
half
as
it.
much damage, so he takes half. So he takes a total of 10 damage as the giant spider just emerges from the fucking
Hello.
fog and bites into this guy.
What does poor Hikan react to this?
I can't see it still. All I see is this big shadow moving. It's like, oh, okay, bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please transform back into a human form before the fog's dissipated, so he will never know. That's just a big spindly. That was a thin bear that came to me.
Is the bandit captain particularly scared of spiders?
I imagine a big one would fuck him off.
Like he's on the ground, and a giant spider's just emerged and sunk its fangs into him.
But it's also lots of fog, and he's kind of busy having his shit kicked in by both the giant spider and a monk right now.
Okay.
Well, like,
So,
An
Well, like-
angry, literally half-crushed monk.
but yeah, I mean, you can try and intimidate him if you want.
Yeah.
well, I mean, like, like, how pea soup level is this fog?
I'd say it's,
heavily obscured the.
Yeah,
Okay, but
I'd
this
say that.
spider has bit into like his shoulder
Yeah.
or something. That's like face to face.
Yeah, I think if it's within like 5
A
feet, you can
foot.
kind of see what it is. And if
This
it's
is
within
a foot.
and if it's within a foot, yeah, probably very clear.
It's like, hello,
Yeah.
spider in your face. Ah!
So did you want to try and intimidate him?
I do. I'm just trying to remember. I think it goes off of the animal's charisma.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
I've
think
got the
when
same
you- I
charisma
think
as the
when you
spider
want-
anyway.
Oh, and you can shout at ladies as well as a fucking Scottula, buddy.
It's fine. I'm sure some animals I can turn into will be charismatic.
Don't you keep all of your mental stats?
Yeah, you do when you beast form.
Oh yeah. So, in which case, maybe you've just put in the stats properly then. So
I
the
did, yeah.
giant spider has 18 wisdom.
That's a fucking smart spider. That spider's got.
That is a profoundly wise spider.
That is an essential.
I assume
spider.
no advantage or disadvantage, just
Just normal, yeah.
Raw ass.
Yeah. So he's going to attempt to guard against that. I think he's okay.
ah.
So he sees this giant spider, he sees the monk over, and it's like, fucking, I throw boulders, asshole! And it's just like...
He's
Yeah,
also
so
on the ground. and
he's
can eat him.
he's high on his own adrenaline there. So, Sho, you just been hit by a fucking boulder, mate.
I like after after getting batted back onto the floor, Sho's like, all right, quick rise, kip up onto his feet, and it's like, okay, do I still have my true strike bead on that one guy in the fog?
Yes.
I'm going to.
You can
I'm
hear it
going-
resonating.
I'm going to activate the blade song.
Okay.
Which gives me more jumping and all movement all around. Like I think it's a +10 to all movement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hop the fuck over this boulder.
Okay.
Boing, hello. And just
Jedi flip.
yeah, token, reach out, tuck and roll midair. Land. Hello there.
Hello.
General Kenobi.
Yes! And advantage, 8-fold blade. For sure. Swing.
For sure, that's a hit. You cut deep into his side, but he still stands as he kind of staggers slightly and kind of like leans to one side and then realizes that he's using a giant fucking spider as support. So he's like,
He like reached his hand out to grab something. He grabs something. It's pretty fuzzy.
Oh dear. Is that what you're doing on your turn?
That's all I can. And
Okay.
until a bit later, I will be able to do double attacks and whatnot. So not yet.
Max, from your perspective, you've just seen your friends disappear into the fog after a couple of them have been smacked in the face by a very big rock.
I assume I heard Hikan yelling that he couldn't see anything, so I'm going
Yeah.
to break the concentration on Fog Cloud.
Okay. It says,
Okay,
Hikan, there's a
okay.
fucking spider there.
come up to the edge here and fire. I'm gonna spend a point to twin my firebolt and blast this guy until he drops.
Okay.
The same guy I've fired magic missiles at.
Okay.
And miss both with a 9 and an 8.
He's busy stumbling through bush, and as he sees the fog disappear, he's like, "Oh, okay, oh fuck!" and just ducks underneath the undergrowth as these bolts of flame fire past off into the distance. Yeah, is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
Can't.
Okay. Tyrina is going to, upset that she's missing out on all the fun, hop over here, use a dash action in order to maneuver here and offer flanking opportunities on the bandit captain. And that's all she can do. The bandits, this one is going to piss himself and fire this crossbow at the giant spider.
It'll probably hit, it doesn't have much AC. Or miss.
Not when he rolls a 5.
He's so
He's spooked. The other bandit who's been attacked by Sho is going to... I would say that Sho is the more immediate threat at the moment.
Yeah.
Just after the fog cloud is lifted, so he's going to try and swing his hand axe. And gets a nat 1.
One of them.
You kind of parry the hand axe away and it tumbles off into the darkness over
Yeah,
the cliff.
genuinely, I am not sick of. I'm sick of this shit. And after resheathing the sword, because EI Jutsu is cool, he just bats it away with the scabbard and is like, sit there.
Kind of
genuinely-
want Sho to start taking the axes of these bandits that he keeps disarming and just have a trophy in his room.
I bat the axe down the cliff and just let him sit down.
Okay. But yeah, afterwards it's Renji's go.
And Renji, holding the dagger in one hand, his shield in front of him in the other, he is going to mutter something under his breath. And what the bandit captain hears is a high-pitched, terrible scream from a Twilight messenger. It is Toll the Dead! Twilight style!
Ding dong, bing bong. Prepare
It's a
to
wisdom
die.
saving throw for the bandit captain,
Okay.
and that would be 9 necrotic damage because he is. Never mind.
Yeah, he rolls a 21 versus your DC of 13 and manages to hold his own. This guy's really, really kind of withstanding all this nonsense.
Why is he
This is
here?
one wise bandit captain.
This
What?
is one wise bandit
No,
captain.
he's just good. Why is he here? Why is he hanging out with these fucking dillweeds? He should be
And
going out doing other
as
stuff.
I noticed that, I am going to hide. I'm going to step behind this bush. Just
Okay,
Later.
on the bandit captain's turn, he's going to stand up.
Oh no.
Suplex
Suplex the
surrounded by
spider!
enemies.
Suplex the spider!
You know what? Yes.
Yeah!
So he's going to attempt to grapple check with you, sir. So what he's going to do is he's going to roll his athletics versus your athletics or your acrobatics, whichever's better for you.
Especially because you got 8 legs, you got more arms.
One suplex
So beat a 17.
I was just wondering, given Spider has spider claws to grab into the ground, wouldn't that be very difficult?
No.
Yeah, I'd say. Well,
No.
I'd say have
Spiders don't-
advantage on.
No, spiders
Cause-
don't do that. They don't.
No.
They, when they climb up surfaces, they don't dig into said surface.
But
Depends
but
on the spider. Some
But
spiders.
even still, like tarantulas, the whole point is that they have like sort of like gecko feet. Like
I'd
bristles.
say I'd be willing to give him advantage not for the claws but for the fact that he's so big.
Yeah,
and,
he's a big
and,
ass spider.
and has 8 legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Also, given like the structural integrity of a spider, if he's grabbing a leg, that's not the best place to throw one. Like, especially not a suplex. If he grabbed it and just spun him around like a hammer toss, that'd be great. Just.
well, let's see if I can roll something good. No. It's just dexterity.
Yep.
12.
Oh, he getting suplexed.
He grabs you, and then he's what he does is, as you kind of go low in order to try and bite at him, he grabs you around around the midsection and just and pulls you around. So what he's going to do is he's going to make a basic attack roll, utilizing his strength, in order to try and hit Tyrina, who's immediately behind him.
So many suplexes.
1d20 plus.
Suplex City.
Because this basic stat block doesn't include the super strength bandit captain.
What's this guy's name? Is it Brock?
I don't think it's Brock.
Brock the suplex bandit.
Let's see, so that's 1d20 plus is going to be +4 because he's not really proficient in wielding spiders. But that's a 20, which is more than 17, so he hits Tyrina. So it's going to be... Oh god. 4 plus 4. So he deals 7 damage to both you and Tyrina as he knocks you into Tyrina, and I'm going to move you over here.
Okay.
And you are prone. Although, is a spider immune to prone?
Maybe? It doesn't specifically call it out. I suppose
If
it
you
can
could
be
be-
like flattened.
Could be on your back.
You can
Yeah.
totally flip Scatula's Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so you do. Yeah, so you are now prone. Which basically means in this game that you use half your movement to stand back up. But otherwise, yeah.
That'd be fine.
And it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, as we've just seen. So, Hikan, you've just seen this dude stand up and fucking hammer toss this spider behind him.
I would imagine that even though that I'm wise enough to know that the boulder came from somewhere, but Hikan, angry now that he was hit by a boulder, and angrier that he just threw a spider onto his friend, is going to swing his staff, going from the left to the right, trying to hit him into Tyrina.
Okay, so
With a nat 1.
No, you get 9.
You get a 9, because it's technically you are flanking with the spider. You can draw a line between the two of you. You don't. So he manages to like kind of like yeah, whew, ha ha. It's just like as you swing overhead.
Right when he says "ha," I swing upwards with my fist, trying to clock him in the jaw.
Oh, sure
Okay.
you can.
God damn it!
That's an 11. He ducks backwards. He's really having a good day. This bandit
Is
captain.
he actually Dempsey rolling?
Dun, 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 dun. Like ducks the quarterstaff, moves out the way of the moves and
So-
dodges the fist.
You swing up and he like ducks backwards to allow the fist to pass. Did you have anything else you wanted to do on your turn? Because you used your action, your bonus action.
Yeah, I don't have any key points, so I'm good.
Okay. Spider friend.
Spider,
You've been suplex.
Spider twirl back onto its feet.
Yep.
Face the captain once more, or should I kill his friend? Yeah,
I'd say
face-
I'd say dunk the ads.
Said what now?
I'd say kill the weak bandit because I want to try and talk to this guy. I don't want to kill this guy. This guy's cool. I want to convert him. This guy's sick.
Ah, you want to do something, do you? I'm gonna bite the fucking bandit captain!
Hey, no, wait, no, I didn't. Hey!
It was me that punched the Octorok. I would like to remind you, it was me.
And who killed the alpha one?
Not me!
Alright, fine.
I'm the one that killed the one that you got to surrender. It was Hikan. That was all Hikan.
It wasn't me.
The spider will then slowly turn its gaze to this one lonely guy in the corner.
Oh no.
He's like, yeah, you want some of this? I'm friends with him. He says, pointing at the bandit captain.
and then Spider just turns around.
17?
Oh no.
For 9,
Yeah,
plus 9.
That's a hit. I'll roll Constitution for him anyway, but I doubt it's going to do him any good.
Nom.
Okay.
So it's good. You know what? He rolled a 20 on his Constitution save. So just so you know, this corpse is not poisoned.
No, it's only half poisoned.
Oh, it's only half poisoned. It's only mildly poisoned. It's
No, he's-
potentially safe.
He's paralyzed. He's just there on the floor.
But
Actually,
yeah,
was the 9 enough to kill him?
The 9 was enough to kill him. Yeah. So you
Alright.
basically just tear into him. Before
The poison was an afterthought. He did.
Poison was an afterthought. Did you want to move anywhere with your 15 feet of movement, or however much movement a normal giant spider has?
15, I think. Well, it has 30
Okay.
total, so.
Yeah.
Can you menace this guy, please?
I could go here and get flanking again.
Flanking in 2 directions.
Scuttle, scuttle, scuttle. Oh, no.
Giant fucking spiders!
Show, it's your go.
Sho, like, after parrying and disarming this poor guy, he says, "Do you submit?"
Just behind him to the giant spider.
Yeah, and he's also gonna, like, point behind him. He's like, "Do you submit?"
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
Do you submit? Come on! I can never roll good intimidation.
So you roll a 4. I'll roll a wisdom save for him anyway.
He's
see if he
gonna
gets anything.
ace it. Of course he is. Right? I'm getting shit
Yeah,
rolls
so-
today.
So he manages to steel himself. He's like, and he looks to his boss, who's just kind of like weaving out of the way of a monk's punches after freshly having suplexed a boulder and a giant spider. And he's like, "No, we've got this somehow. All of my friends are dead, but we've got this somehow."
I believe in my boss at least.
And then pity.
It's like, "Yeah, we could do shrink." And it's just it just crumbles to the ground. This fresh gash in him, just cutting him down.
And I'll go to turn to the bandit actor. It's like, "Cease this!"
It's like, "No, I'm having too much fun."
Then face me! He's like, shows like, this guy wants to fight.
I love fighting.
Hikan glares at Sho.
No, I want this.
Max, it is your go.
You give me this.
Around this boulder, see what's left.
Just,
You see only the bandit captain. You see the corpses of his former soldiers just lying about rubble in places where there were more fully formed boulders and a giant spider.
Magic
standing
missile.
over. Magic.
no! This man's a hero, leave him be!
Max is not going to let your pride get one of us killed.
Hey!
To be fair, his
Um,
pride is most likely to get him killed.
Right!
Yeah, that's true.
But he is one of us.
yeah,
They're still technically correct.
Oh, fuck, you got me there, boy.
that's true. So you just extend your hand and the darts just enter the air and automatically seek onto the bandit captain. No matter how hard he tries to dodge, he cannot evade a magic missile, and he takes on the full damage. Anything else you want to do in your turn?
Nah.
11.
Okay. Tyrina's go. She's going to do the first thing that she's ever done in a long time. First attack she's ever made in a very long time. She's going to swing.
Nat
she's got
20,
advantage
nat
on
20,
this.
nat 20,
Drumroll,
nat 20.
please.
Rolls a 23,
Close enough.
6 slashing damage, and then she's going to burn a spell slot in order to smite.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
So you see
Lightning axe.
her great axe just flare up with this divine energy, and as it makes contact with this band, it just explodes outwards. I believe it's. I haven't smote anything as a paladin in a long time, so I need to check.
I ain't
you
been
haven't
smoking.
smitten?
Smote is past
D8.
tense.
I know it's
Two
smote.
D8.
But it is.
It is? It is,
It
right.
is.
Okay. Fucking
Getting
words.
14, so a total of 20 damage on this bandit
Oh,
captain.
boy.
Just cuts it, he's like, "Ah!" And he's looking far worse for wear. He cannot handle much more. The bandits are all dead. All normal bandits are dead. Renji, it's your go.
As this happens, I see Tyrina like use this radiance, this beautiful light in her attack. I step towards the bandit captain, putting the shadow dagger back in its sheath, and from thin air,
Oh, this is some anime
I-
shit. Light and darkness. Oh no.
Indeed,
can't escape
indeed.
from crossing fate.
as I fashion from thin air a longsword,
Okay.
I make sure that it is created right up against his neck.
Oh, so you're
Surrender
gonna. So you're gonna.
now, or your life will be forfeit.
Make an intimidate check.
I just love. Okay. I know you said you were going to say fashion, but a brief moment you said Finn, and I thought you'd say I'm a Finna do it, and I was like, yeah.
That's
Renji.
a 20. I was like furnish fashion. No, what?
But boy, he furnished do it.
Yeah, so you like finish it now, and he looks at you,
He
and
matches it. Oh my god!
You can see the smile on his face. At which point he raises a gauntleted hand and grabs the blade and just says, "Go on, I dare you to finish it."
I don't have any action left.
Oh no.
Okay. At which point, and seeing this, he's going to immediately uppercut you.
I love this guy.
But he only gets a 10. So he's just, whoa, as you duck backwards, and he's like, right, let's go.
Non-lethal damage.
Is
Non-lethal
it
damage.
okay if he just hits my breastplate?
Yeah.
And
There's
I'm
a-
just like, no.
Non-lethal damage. We are not killing this man. I want to bring him home. I want.
Can I keep him, please? No, he'll just suplex the furniture.
I want this guy to be my man.
You'll have to feed him and clean up after him and take him for walks.
I'll do it.
Hikan, it is your turn.
Hikan, realizing that he's losing himself, and it's like, no, that's not what your master wants, takes a deep breath and swings his quarterstaff at his gauntleted hand that he still has out, trying to attempt to bonk it back into the guy's head.
Okay.
And it will be non-lethal.
Okay, but you still get advantage because you're flanking. That's a critical hit.
So, wait,
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
is this
So,
okay? So I can't hit you with the hammer. So I will hit the hammer with you.
Yeah. So as you bring it up to make contact with his fist, how do you want to embellish this moment in time?
Don't kill him.
So Hikan sits there and is like angry, and as I said, takes a deep breath, closes his eyes, putting his staff to his right hand side, and then just brings it all the way up without opening his eyes into the back of the gauntleted hand that he used to try to swing at Renji. And as it makes contact with the back of the head, since he's probably, I'm imagining he has the gauntlet open, and it's just suddenly just a thwack right in the guy's forehead.
So you gave him the most brutal auto facepalm ever.
Yeah. That's
Very
great. There's a profound. There's a smack of hand on face like thunder as you guide the hand expertly back into his own face, and he stumbles slightly
Okay, but
and then falls forward.
no, but
Sho's checking for life signs. Medicine check.
Check his pulse, Yugi.
Make a medicine check.
I don't want to.
And then Hikan, having a bit more of a moment to notice, looks up and goes, "Fuck, another spider!"
Medicine 19.
Okay, medicine 19. Hikan, did you aim to kill or aim to disarm?
I aimed to disarm.
Okay, so he's still alive.
He is, however, unarmed. He has no arms.
Well, I mean, how do you disarm someone with a stick?
His hand's
Hitting
probably
them
broken.
very, very hard.
Okay, that's fair. You probably did break his hand, but it will heal, and then I
I'll
will
turn
get to
back to
fight
normal
him.
now.
Then I will get to
Okay.
fight him on an equal level.
Please don't ever turn into a spider again.
No promises.
Damn it.
Show like masking the fact that it's like, oh, I want to fight this guy. Does reach down, check his pulse, and is like, well, at least we can bring back someone to the authorities, rather than looks around.
It is kind of corpsey over here.
It is a bit. It is a bit corpsey.
Might want to, get whatever he was using to throw boulders around off him.
Gauntlets, probably.
Does he have anything on his gauntlets, or was he just this strong?
Make an investigation check.
I have a +6 in there.
They are not bracelets. They're not gauntlets, but rather a bracelet.
Does he have anything? On
They're golden. They're silver gauntlets, or they're bracelets of power.
I got the 20.
Essentially, you look over and you do see that that the most expensive thing on him is probably the fingerless silver-plated gauntlets that appear to be on his hands.
So
Could I have a look at them with
identify
Arcana?
magic. Doesn't wizard have identify magic?
I do. I am going to identify.
While you do that, I'm gonna rifle through the pockets of the other corpses.
No.
I'm gonna follow Max. And rifle through the other corpses.
No ritual, just straight up burning a spell slot. Bang. Identify.
I get a 10 for investigating.
Okay, so you identify the gauntlets, and I'm going to put it into your journal under treasure in the Sheikah Boys, and you are free to read out if you want.
The silver gauntlets. These fingerless gauntlets are plated in a thick, refined electrum with green gems. They resize themselves when attuned. A creature wearing these gauntlets changes their strength score to 19.
Wait.
In addition, the creature, I assume, can invoke the power rather than can invoke the power of the gauntlets to make a DC 12 strength athletics check. If they do this, they can pick up an object of up to 1 ton. Though their movement speed is reduced to 0 when doing so, case in point when Link picks up the black granite and doesn't move but can huck it, you can then throw the object in the same action behind them. So you reverse caber toss, essentially. Creatures potentially hit by a thrown object must make a DC 13 dex check or take 3d6 bludgeoning damage. Using this feature more than once per long rest, you gain a level of fatigue for each subsequent use. So you can pop it one. I'm just thinking the fact that you get a flat 19 when just wearing them.
I mean,
You do.
would they work in beast form? Because they say creature. And they attune to whatever size.
Yo,
You can do,
does that mean like when you turn to spider form, you're gonna have some tiny little silver booties on each of your 8 legs?
So it'll like magic items. From what I understand, is that they merge to the thing and have their uses based on it. But it's one of those things where it's like depends on the mechanics of the actual creature. So a bear might be able to pick up something of up to a ton, do the throwing thing, but a spider, their physiology might be a bit weird.
And like even still, like the whole point why the strength 19 is the fact that you're using the gauntlets to modify your muscle strength. Having a strength 19 spider, you're not going to be lifting anything, and it doesn't make sense for you to hit harder because spiders don't hit stuff with their legs.
In other forms, like bears are pretty strong anyway.
Yeah, right. So like, and also like their gauntlets, they're made for me.
Regardless of anything, though, I think what we'll do for now is that we'll end the session here because we've gone on for much longer than we usually do.
Oh, shit.
And we'll pick this up next time. I have been ArticulateT. Thank you very much for listening. I have been joined by SteveTheSeregios playing Sho Daius.
He suplex a spider.
Also joined by TheNetherlad, who played Renji, son of Nihilus.
I am the Dayard.
I also joined by Alvarance playing Hikan.
He suplexed a boulder!
I also joined by Robo Pirate, who played Ziden Shari.
I was suplexed!
And I'm also finally joined by Keastreth, who's been playing Max.
I made a cloud.
And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Hyrule Chronicles, a tale in the world of Legend of Zelda using 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I have been the GM, ArticulateT. Thank you very much for joining us. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a comment and share this link with everybody that you can possibly find who might enjoy Zelda or Dungeons & Dragons, or both, or neither, if you want to. If you want to be up to date on these uploads, feel free to follow me at ArticulateT on Twitter, and I'm also on YouTube under the same name. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.